Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how to use the paste date and paste time functions in my ClipTools app. MACMOST and ClipTools are brought to you by a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So ClipTools is my free app that you can get in the Mac App Store. It's a clipboard manager with all sorts of other functions. One of the things that you can do is the ability to paste the date wherever it is that you're typing text. So here I am in this text edit document and I can select ClipTools here, go to paste date, and we'll paste the date using this format. You could also go and use paste time and you get the date and time in this format. And this works wherever it is that you're typing. So if you're writing an email message in Mail, if you're working in a spreadsheet in Numbers, wherever you are, instead of Command V for paste to paste what's in the clipboard, you can use these functions and it will paste the date or the time. You can also use keyboard shortcuts. So here I've got under Settings my first global keyboard shortcut set to Shift Command C to activate the menu. So when I use Shift Command C it activates the menu and you can see there once I'm in the ClipTools app, Shift Command D or Shift Command T will paste the date or time. So I could have just kept holding down Shift and Command and then gone from C to D and I get the date. Shift Command C and then T will paste the time. Or you can go and set another global keyboard shortcut to paste date or paste time. So in this case Shift Command M will now paste the date. Now the key to using this feature is to set the format how you want. So let's go back into Settings here and you can see I've got the paste date format and the paste time format here. And these are using coding standards for specifying the format of the date. So capital M stands for the month without any leading zeros. So a 1 or an 11 but not 01. D will also do the date with no leading zeros. And YY gives the year with 2 digits. So 23. For a time format, 4 lowercase y's gives the full year 2023. 2 capital M's gives the month with leading zeros like 02. And lowercase dd will give the date with leading zeros like 08. And then 2 capital H's will give leading zeros with the hour. Lowercase m's will give minutes with the leading zero. And lowercase s's will give the seconds with the leading zero. But you can edit this format and change it to whatever you want. So for instance if I were to go to the paste date format and put 2 capital M's and 2 lowercase d's, I will now get leading zeros for the 2 of those. So now when I go to paste the date I get 020823 instead of 2823. In addition the slashes were put there but I could have changed those to something else like a dash. And now when I use it you can see I get dashes instead of slashes. And as you might guess there's really no difference between paste date format and paste time format. I could remove the time from paste time format and it just becomes a second way to paste the date. Likewise I could put time here in the date format. So these are basically just date and time 1, date and time 2. Use them however you like. So that all seems easy enough. The hard part is getting a hang of the formatting. To do that go to the Instructions and Feedback menu item there. This takes you to MACMOST.com/ClipTools and scroll down to paste date, paste time. And this will tell you a little bit more about these formats. It'll give some examples right here. So you can get the date in this format. There are all sorts of other things you can do as well. Like for instance 4 capital E's will give you the day of the week spelled out. There's a lot more than just these examples. There's a link right here that goes to a general reference for the Unicode standards for date formats. And most, if not all of these things should work in ClipTools. So if you scroll down from where this link takes you, you can see all of these different symbols here. And it's important to look at things very carefully. For instance if you want the number of the month it's capital M. But if I scroll down here and look for minute you could see that minute it's lowercase m. It's very easy to get these confused. Case will count. So if you use a lowercase m as the month it's not going to work out. It's just going to show you the minute, not the month. So if you're not getting what you expect from a date format, be sure to check this reference very carefully. look at the number of times with each letter, and look at whether it's uppercase or lowercase and match it to what you find in this table exactly. So here are some examples. By using 4 E's I get the day of the week. By using 4 M's I get the month completely spelled out, and then the minimum number of digits for the day, and then the year completely written out as well. So now when I paste the date it looks like that. But if I remove one of these E's here it will abbreviate the day into 3 letters. The same thing with the month. So just by removing one letter from each of those, now the date looks like this. If you read through all that documentation you'll also find out that there are special things like quarters. For instance, 3 capital Q's will give me the quarter with the Q in front of it. So I could have that plus the year with 4 Y's, and then it will work like this. If I went the time with leading zeros I would use 2 capital H's, 2 lowercase m's, and 2 lowercase s's like that. And then I get this basic format here. If I want I could change that to use lowercase h's. That will give me hours but only up to 12. So 1 p.m. would be 1 instead of 13, which is what I would get with capital H's. And then I could add the letter A there, and that will give me AM and PM like this. I could change to 1H and we'll cut out the leading zero, leave in the leading zero for the minute, and then I could add a Z here and it'll give me the time zone. So now I can paste the time and it gives me MST since I'm in Mountain Standard Time. Or you could use 5 X's and then this will give me the time zone adjustment like that. Now there's a special function I built in here to allow you to adjust the time. Maybe you don't want the current time, but you want the time at some point in the future or the past. If you use the pipe character, which on American keyboards is right above the return key, you have to use shift and it says up and down line, and then plus or minus, you can then have a number of seconds and it will adjust the time. So for instance if I do 3600 like that, that's 1 hour's worth of seconds. So now when I paste the time in there it's going to add 1 hour and give me the result of that. I could subtract the time as well with minus, and I could do the same thing with the date here. So let me go and change to MD and then 4 Y's for the month, date, and year, and then I could do pipe and then plus and then add 86,400, which is the number of seconds in a day. And now when I use the date function I get tomorrow, and a minus would have been yesterday. Now another thing you can do is you can include things in single quotes and it will just use those as text in the format. So you can put something like this in a single quote. Spaces are fine to be outside of quotes, just like using colons or slashes. So it's going to put this text in here. So now when I use paste date it puts those words and then a space, and then since I'm adding the number of seconds for a day it'll put tomorrow's date. If you want to get a little more complex with that though, then you can go to use smart clips, which I've done a video on before. So you can add a new smart clip and then you can put whatever text you want and add a date or time wherever you want it. So here I'm going to do curly brackets and then date colon and then give a format like M/D/year, and then I'm going to do pipe and then plus, add the number of seconds in a day, and then I'll put a period outside of that. So this function here will work just like the paste date and paste time except in a smart clip. So now when I go to use this smart clip here I get the date for tomorrow as part of it. And you can use this in any app like I said. So for instance remember I've got the time set to be 1 hour from now. So I could, instead of actually typing out the time, I could go to paste time and it will paste the time 1 hour from now. I also made sure this works in numbers not only when you're typing in a cell already, so I can paste the date like that, but if you just select the cell then it will work to put the date in there. So it makes it an easy way for you to add the date or the whole date and time in cells in spreadsheets. So if you have to add the date and time you certainly can use insert and then you've got date and time, but you have to have the cursor blinking in there to do that in numbers, whereas with ClipTools you can do it even if the cell is the only thing that's selected. So that's how you use the paste date and paste time functions in ClipTools. I hope you find ClipTools useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.